Hi there, how are you? Um, do you know one of those days that where you set a plan and you want something to really work out and everything, absolutely everything goes wrong? So, yep, I'm having one of those days. Um, well, because my channel is still mostly in Hebrew, I would say welcome to my It's Okay You Can Breathe Change Happen by Itself um, channel. My name is Uriel Tamir Thaler. And yes, I promise the channel will be multi-language, both English and Hebrew soon, as soon as I find some technical guy, someone who can help me with. I'm really bad at that stuff, but I am aiming to that. And the reason I'm actually was aiming to start this live, I was actually aiming to start it 20 minutes ago at 11 o'clock. So as from now on, you can already set down a time because as from now on, and I will explain with soon. I'm setting a time for me to speak two lives a week, each half an hour. Monday in English will be 11 o'clock, and Thursday in Hebrew for the Israeli guys. Um, I'll go back a couple weeks. Um, the thing is this: my dream is to speak. My dream is to be a lecturer, a speaker, and mostly a motivational speaker. I love it. For my a bit of experience, about 20 of them that I gave, um, I loved it. It was always my dream and just fit. And the thing is that in the past, until a couple of months ago, 18 months of hell, purely, I've been diagnosed with CPTSD. It's not the beginning, it's only the diagnosis came after 30 years of handling and dealing with it. And it's been a hard time. And a couple of months ago, I started coming out of it. And immediately I wanted to do my work, to speak, to keep spreading my word and do what I believe I came here to do. But something was blocked, as usual. Um, and then a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to myself, one of those conversations, and I asked myself, what can I commit to? And just to explain a little bit about it, something I've learned about myself that fit with the CPTSD criteria. CPTSD is, for those who don't know, is complex post-trauma stress disorder. Get it? Um, and one of the things that I'm having a hard time, and I understand that I'm not the only one, is setting time and fitting in them. Like because I don't know what will happen. My PTC can jump and everything can go wrong. Um, so a couple of weeks ago, I asked myself, what can I do? What can I commit to right now? And I thought of maybe, I always believe in little changes. That's what I'm always spreading the word about. So I thought, okay, I took some example from someone else who did something else with writing. And I thought, okay, Monday and Thursday, two lives, half an hour each, just to start doing it. Now I can already say ahead of time, yes. Um, well, I need to explain about me myself. Yes, I'm a bit all over sometimes, so I might lose my train of thoughts. Sorry about that. Um, yet, with all my mind, I will explain with time what it means to be with CPTSD in the mind field that is in our mind. With everything, I always believe that I came here to do something, and I always believe that I want to speak about something. And when I was a kid, I was like, what am I going to speak about? But it was some dream that I wanted to do it. So it turns out at the end of it that I'm already doing pretty much almost closing 30 years next year. 30 years of experiments. We changes. What happened when I do this? What happened when I do that? What happened when I don't do anything? And I've been exploring it over and over and over with tiny little changes, like changing the amount of sugar in my coffee, to how can I survive Sydney in Australia with only $120 on purpose, and other stuff. And I was exploring, pushing my boundaries. And today, all I want is to really share what I've learned as much as I can. I know that I have my own boundaries. I know I have my own issues to deal with. My own CPTSD is dealing with groups of people. So even to talk to you is already affecting. So I just decided to open the tap. And I think that should be the best way to start a session in English, because I already did it in Hebrew. And it explains a lot in how I do things. It came to me, the thought about the session, when I met a lot of people that start new things like relationship, new business, new jobs, new place to live. At the beginning, they're really excited because whatever. And after a couple of weeks, months, whatever, they kind of like, it doesn't work so good. And they give up. No, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not working. Get out of there. I agree. But who knows? My limit is as long as I'm not in danger. If I'm in danger, out, gone, whatever. But if I can, and I push myself in different areas like relationships and jobs and places to live, and what I did comes to what I met, and that's how the idea came. I simply opened the tap and I explained. When I was a kid, I was pretty much outcasted most of the time. Since I was a kid, I was bullied around, so I mostly kept away. Sometimes yes, mostly no. So I had a lot of free time, and I'm a curious little kid, always was. And I remember myself once finding just next to the court, where the outside court where they played basketball and soccer, there used to be two taps, but the kids only knew about one because it was out in the open. Everybody drank from it, and it was clear water. Everything fine. Why anything else if you have it, right? But I was, bored, my own, da da da. So I suddenly found a tap, but it was completely buried under like bushes that I don't think they've been used for months, if not years. And I was curious, so I thought like, okay, let's see what happens. I opened it. I opened the tap. Now, what happens when you open a really, 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 really old tap? Sometimes nothing. Might be completely disconnected, but sometimes, and I'm talking about those times, at the beginning, nothing comes out. At the beginning, you just, nothing. It's like you just open, sorry about my hair. Um, but if you stay a while, you start beginning, you're like, you start hearing the air coming out of the system, out of the pipes. So it begins, and then slowly, slowly, you start seeing drops, like come, and slowly, slowly comes more and more and more. You get the idea. I make it short. But at the beginning, what kind of water comes out? Rusty, yuck, brown, and whatever. You really don't want to drink that, right? But if you keep it on, if you keep it open, what happens? Did you ever try it? Try it once, find if you can. The water slowly turns into a whitey thing, and then slowly, clear water you can drink. And I drank from it. Everything was fine. Now, what this got to do with life? Because, and I give you this example. I'll give you an example from the last couple of weeks. I asked myself, what can I commit to twice a week, half an hour each? It's nothing, right? Hmm. So took me a couple of weeks of building the energy to it. And last Friday I had my birthday. Thank you. And I wanted to start like the Thursday just before, to start the new year with the Hebrew one. I took my daughter to her kindergarten. I got back really fast, no problem, no issues. And out of nowhere, out of the blue, I was so tired. I fell asleep for 2 hours in the morning. Now, it might be completely standard for some of you. For me, you can think of in the standard of astronomical events. It doesn't happen. I don't. My CPTSD keeps my sleeping time at night, mostly, mostly 5 hours condensed. I bring myself to complete exhaustion before I go to sleep, so I can sleep until 6 o'clock in the morning or so. If I sleep 6 hours, it's like a bless, but I never went back to sleep in the morning. Maybe at noon. Morning, so rare. I don't even remember if it ever happened. Now, why do I mention it? Because that morning I was supposed to give a live, and suddenly I was tired and fell asleep. I woke up, and my whole day completely changed, and no life. And then came today, and I thought, come on, first time, as 41 years old, let's do it. Whatever happens, you do it. So I had on my birthday, I had two scorpions coming in at night. I had my own celebration with myself. Two scorpions barged in. Um, so I also called an exterminator to put whatever he puts. Not that I like to kill them. He also doesn't like to kill them as well. But with kids, it's too much of a danger. Black scorpions. I found a dead one just under my mattress, just under my pillow. Thank God it was dead. So I set it up for this morning. I tried to push it tomorrow. Doesn't work. Okay, it was at 9. Okay, we'll fit. My daughter's supposed to, take her at 8 o'clock to the kindergarten. Him at 9 until 10 o'clock. I have to be outside of the room. I have some time. 11 o'clock, perfect, right? So my daughter decided just tonight not to sleep, waking up at 9:30. No, at 9. Sorry, 9 o'clock or something like that. And I had to wait until he got here. Everything. And then he was also late, and everything was completely upside down. And I was really intended, I had the pure intention of doing this live, even though it would be crap because I wouldn't have time to sit down and think a bit, to aim. But here's the thing: this is exactly the thing about life, and that's why the topic that I wrote. Life is just one big happy family of changes, of unknown, unexpected situations. No matter what we do, no matter what we plan and how good we do it, there's always that something can floop, change and everything is upside down. Now, the reason, by the way, it's not okay for me at 20 past 11, not 11, I'm an origin of Dutch and German. That is complete strict NCPTs and perfectionist. This is important. It was really important to start on time, and I will aim to start on time. Yet with that, I will ask for your patience because c'est la vie. What can I say? But yet, as for now, my full intention is to be here every Monday, 11 o'clock Israel time. If you can make it, because the state's probably asleep. So yeah, it's here and live on YouTube anyway. I talked to a friend of mine. Why did I decided on English in Monday and Thursday in the evening and on Hebrew in Hebrew? And I thought that what's the difference between Israelis and most of my friends? I have lots of friends from all over, and the thing is that even in the most busy places like Spain or Morocco that I've traveled, Israelis, and we have all the reasons for it. We just live in constant constant tension. Um, and I thought, just before Shabbat, just before the weekend, it would be fine, better to talk about something that calms down, to help lower the engine, to lower the steam. And as for Monday, well, Monday, Bloody Monday, I don't need to say that. I know that most people don't like the start of the week, the beginning of the week, because they don't like the jobs, they don't like, getting back in all of those stuff. And yeah, nobody does. When one hates the job, so yeah, it's no fun. I know. Um, so I thought for the beginning of the week, I'll give something, to give extra power, extra. I don't know about positive thinking, because I don't really believe that it's the main idea. It's more positive feeling about life. Because my main idea, and you'll hear a lot about it through the lives, is how to, um, not how to. I'm working pretty much most of the time on changing perception of how I perceive life. As for me, there's two options. There are two options: fear and love. No other options. You either can be look at things. We can look at things through fear and be really stressed. What can I do? What will I work? Talk about what they think about. Pa, 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 pa. Or I can say, you know what? This is life. What can I say? You set it up Monday, 11 o'clock, so you start late, but just start and just love myself as it is. And the reason I came to this conclusion is that, first of all, I looked for something very simple that I can focus on and not have too many things to think about. So something small I can point on. And the other thing is the other part of the equation is that this little change every time that I do is how I look about things and how I perceive things in my mind literally changes my life day by day. It changed completely my life when I was 28. When this came to my life, it's okay to breathe, because it allowed me a window of breath, to take a break from this CPTSD that I know that now what my mind is dealing with. But back then, I was just thought it was just depression, and I just needed a breather, like something to take a breeze from every now and then. And it came to me out of nowhere, and thank God I put it on a sticker and spread it around, because I learned that it does good to many people. So my main thing. Sorry, guys, you have no idea how hot it is here. It's I don't know. Yesterday it was 40 degrees. I think it's a bit lower, 38 Celsius. Um, I don't know what is that in Fahrenheit. My main thing is pretty much changing our perspective, and I will maybe now go shortly on the exercises that I'm dealing with. If you don't know anything about me yet, so you can pick it up. If not, if you already heard about it, you can skip to the next part. I don't know what to be. and that's it. But you might just listen. I don't know if it will. I learned that one thing that's another thing that I've learned. It's really good for life is to repeat. If you find something that works, repeat, 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 repeat. It works. With repentance. My English is not that yet there. Anyway, first thing about how to change your perspective is to understand that change is permanent. As it was really, really hard for me to get and to accept. Yet the moment I understood it and accepted it, and it gave me a lot of freedom. Reason first, if I don't know the answer, the answer will come. It always works, always, always. And in the worst of moments, it will pass. So I know the change is permanent. Everything changes, no matter how hard it is, no matter how good it is. And it's also good to remember that don't stay up there too long, otherwise it's gonna be. But to flow with life. Um, the reason I mention it is that if we are scared of change and change is permanent, we live in permanent fear. That's my equation. And if we can't change because it always happens. It's permanent. We can't do anything about it. But we can change the perception, how we look at it, if change happens, do we freeze, scared to death, fight, or like triple F, or we, interesting. Okay, what happened now? Being curious, because that changes everything. And we'll get back to curiosity in a moment. Now, this is really, really a crash course. Sorry, take a sip. It's a much longer to talk about, but I'll make it crash course. Now, the thing is, and you can write it down now. I will maybe later with time have a board with me. We have a 5-stage change process that I wrote it down for myself. Maybe you heard different processes. Maybe it will fit. Maybe it will sound a little bit different. This works. This works for me. What? I need some water. I think. Excuse me. Anyway, so the 5 stages. I will go in them really short because I want more to focus on the exercises that you can already start exercising with yourself. And we will go back to it with time, just like that. It's just important for me to spread it out, and you can just listen to it as many times as you want, because these exercises, this is what I'm talking about right now. It's really the tip of the fork, we say in Hebrew. Yet this is what keeping me alive. This is what gives me the power to go through anything, to achieve anything I want, to be able to stand in front of a crowd and talk, to be able to be a father with CPTSD, to be able to do many things. So I want to put it out there in English. I don't know if I mentioned it. I don't know. It just burns in my stomach. So in short, 5 stages of process. First of all, we want a change. It could be conscious, it could be subconscious. Either way, we are always moving toward what we want. So if you want to create a better perception of what's going on, look at what you really want, and the best, make peace with it. It takes time. It's a long process each time. This is the direction I've learned to have a better life. Yet that comes with time. What we can really work on are actually the second and the third stages, which are when we want something, we start paying attention to it. It's automatic. We start paying attention. When a woman wants, and I mention women because mostly it happens with men as well, because I also had it. It's most women will more connect to that when suddenly they want um, to be in a relationship, they want a family. Suddenly, what they want, they see in the street, all the couples in the world, all the babies in the world. Suddenly, everywhere babies, all everywhere couples. It's same thing with guys. It's much more simple. When we want the car, oops! Suddenly, everyone has the car. um, yeah, we're more complicated than that. And it was just making fun, but it's like that. When we want something, we start paying attention to it. The third thing is that we start feeling all kind of emotions that come when a woman or you know what, when I wanted a relationship and I met someone and I really wanted, and boom, didn't work. Frustration and anger and sadness and then another one and then another one and then another one and then boom, clicked. Now did it work? No, she's my ex, but I have my daughter now. The thing is that when we want something, we pay attention to it and we start feeling a lot of emotions. That's the third stage. The fourth stage, I have many names for it because I have a lot of time to make names for it, because I called it in the beginning the stage of nothing, because it feels like nothing happens. In the movies, it's like the quiet after the storm. You know, after all the storms, the emotions like calm down. You feel like what's going on, what's going. It's like that. For me, as a person who likes to do, it feels more like a very frustrating event, and that's why I call it the stage of nothing, because I try to do things and nothing happens. You can see it as the butterfly, in the cocoon that the worm eats and becomes a cocoon, and until it becomes a butterfly, you can't do anything about it. You can look at it also in the stage, and I actually gave it another name now, but okay, enough. My best name, the one that really explains it, is the Chinese bamboo. If you never heard of it, about it and how it grows, in short, when you plant a Chinese bamboo, it will stay pretty much the same for 5 years in the ground where it has all the place to grow. It will stay, something like this, whatever, for 5 years when you give it water and everything it needs. 5 years. Not, like it seems like nothing happens. The thing is that in those 5 years, the little plant sends the roots all over, and then in 2, 3 months, it becomes a forest. I never seen it in live. I'm planning on it. When I read about it and I heard about it, I thought like, wow, that's exactly it. Because after we go through and we go through what we can do with emotions and paying attention, those we can do about this stage, and that's the frustrating part. We can't. We just have to go through it and remember it's a stage. The fifth stage, it's okay. You can start dancing. I call it the change happened, and it's a wonderful moment. It takes some time, for me at least. My advice: when you get there, celebrate as much as you can. I don't mean get drunk and stuff, but stay in the happiness. Stay in it. Don't worry, it will go away. You will look for something new anyway. Stay in it as long as you can. At least longer than me. Anyway, going back to pay attention and emotions. Those are the stuff. Those are the things that we can actually change our perceptions and how we perceive it and how we look at it, and literally change our life. I would just like to mention, normally it will be half an hour until half an hour. I'm just keeping it until I finish, but I will have to go because lunch girl, my little girl and stuff. Okay, so first thing first, paying attention. Why is it so important? We can't change anything without it. Nothing changes without paying attention, because we won't change anything until we say, wait a minute, I don't like that. We pay attention. Ooh, what's that? I don't like. That's too painful. That's too whatever. I would like to change that. So we start paying attention. The thing is, the first exercise I'm talking about is little changes. Little changes means tiny little changes. The little changes that you will think, how on earth would this help? My first change was lower the amount of sugar in my coffee or tea when I was 12. It just happened, and I lowered it from 3 to 2. My whole exercise, the whole work with change came from that tiny little change. So that's one thing, and I know a lot about it now because of that little change, and that helps a lot. But you don't have to wait 30 years. The thing is, when we change something, excuse me, when we start changing, when we change anything, we immediately start paying attention, because we move out of the unknown. Tiny little one, you can even, something that came up to my mind. If you steer it like this, or left hand or right hand. That's a small change that I'm talking about. That's an example. Shower, soap yourself differently. Do something. Go to work in a different way. That's it. Something tiny that doesn't bother you, that doesn't bother your routine at all. If it bothers your routine, causes any stress, gone. Don't do it. Tiny little changes. It causes, we start paying attention because of it. And because we start paying attention, we immediately start changing. And slowly, slowly, it becomes like a ball of snow. Bigger, bigger, and bigger. But you don't have to be scared. It just happens. It's like um, driving with gear, manual gear. You breathe, you make a change, and you let go. And you start driving. You don't immediately start in fifth gear, right? So no worry about it. You won't get to fifth gear until you are capable, and life will tell you when. If you want to change anything in your life, start small. Your mind will catch up. Will catch up. Will whoa. It will just do it. It's amazing. So paying attention. Um, Another thing that works with paying attention when my mind is and CPTSD causes another thing is a thought that can really get stuck. My mind can really get stuck on something and holds onto it, and it's really really hard to let go. That's why this is a miracle for me, because it's a I can let go any thought. But that's a path. That's the we'll keep that in a moment. What I'm usually working, what I'm moving is curiosity. Remember, I told you that working on it. When my morning this morning was upside down and it's still kind of late, and I'm worried that I won't be on time with food, the papa with my daughter, I'm just saying, okay, let's see what happens. What will happen? At the time, I will be with my daughter, that's for sure. What will happen? I won't eat. Come on. So I'm just calming down my mind so I can continue. Now, the thing is that when we stay curious, this is not finding an immediate answer. Curious is staying in a question and say, okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. I gave myself enough time to give myself in what happens. So let's see what happens. And the thing is, it completely takes your mind, our mind, off the stress. And well, think for yourself. How do you live better? Sorry, my neck, my back. Um, how do you feel better? How do you do things better, like live better? Stressful mind or curious mind, calm mind? The second thing, goes more with emotions. Remember the third stage. Emotions are purely unknown for our mind, who is built on thoughts, on known things. We know this and this, know that, and this what that, and we build it and we build it and we build it. And no wonder sometimes it crash because when all belief crashes, we don't believe it anymore, and our life changes. Um, the thing is, with emotions, it's always unknown. Always feels like, oh my god, this pain, oh my god, this sadness, oh my god, this fear. Did you notice how many fears we have? But do we have sadnesses? No. Angers? No. Do you fear from that, fear from that, fear from that, fear from that, fear from that? It's the same. When we accept fear as it is, like, oh, fear, how you doing? It changes the whole thing. I used to be scared to death. I just collected yesterday two scorpions, dead ones ish, and two live ones a couple of days ago, and it used to scare me to death. And it's not I'm not that easy for now, but still, I'm okay. That's why I had the guy. Also, the thing is that the more we meeting any emotion, fear, anger, frustration, happiness, um, sadness, confusion. I mention all the bad emotions because we always, tend to push them aside. But the thing is, when we push them aside, they always tend back to burst and our days upside down. So I've learned to make fun, not make fun, friends with them, and make fun with them actually. And today, fear, anger, pain are my best friends. And I'm not kidding. Are my best friends and mentors. If I want to know what to do, and I never trusted anyone on telling me what to do, so I have to trust myself, and I never know. So I ask myself, what am I scared of? And giving lives is what I'm scared of, and that's why I decided, okay, I'll give two lives because it's just an emotion, it's just energy, and the moment we just feel it and feel it and feel it, we just stop being worried about it. Today, when fear comes, and I'm busy or something, with I don't have time for that. I just say, hey, fear, coffee, cookies, there, you know what to do, and I just move on with my life. And when I have time, I sit down. Okay, what I was scared of. Why was it? Where does it come from? Did I feel it before? What kind of pattern did I see? Pop, 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 pop. All kind of emotional work that you can do. Um, I've learned it through myself and through all kinds of workshops. I'll speak about it time. I have to cut short soon. Um, but the thing is just to feel them. And the best way I found for myself, because I love music and movies best, and also series, but movies best. And I notice that we feel when we hear music, and we feel when our hero is being chased around and we're scared for him, or we feel the sadness of me, a father now. If I see a father in a movie, oh my god, I never felt before, but now I do. We connect and we feel, and I just let myself feel and tell my mind, hey, mind, you paying attention? Hey, what's this? Oh, that's I'm scared for him. Oh, I'm confused. I'm feeling the pain. I'm feeling what do I feel now? And just let myself feel emotion. And with music or movies or series, or if you read more books, I just would love to read more, but it doesn't work for me. Anything that triggers your emotion in the safest playground. I'm talking in your home. I do it now while driving. I do now while moving, but I do it, for 30 years. So I feel really experienced with it. So I can, do it, cry my eyes out while driving. I'll be fine. I know my mind is just okay. Just tears. Okay, no problem. And no problem. I'm loving to cry. I know it's an emotional way to let things go. Instead of being angry, I just cry for a minute. Much better than being explosive. Trust me. Um, so I've learned to connect to them. I've learned to listen to them and get to know them and just let them be, even if I don't learn anything from them. And that led me to real life and real emotions like scorpions and being late and daughter and lives and blah 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 and all this. and I have to do this live because I promised myself, I committed, and I said like, no, I will do two lives every week this year and see what happens. I wanted to create a breakthrough, so let's do it. Thank God we can breathe, guys. Thank God. We can literally change anything we want. I'm practicing it literally on it, only it right now in my daily life. How to find parking spots, how to find, the right time to pass the car that drives really slow, or anything else. The little things that bugs us, whoop, and somehow it fits. It works. So, breathing, breathe out, and repeat. When we move into the breathing zone, we move out of the thinking zone. And that takes us away of the stress. That lowers the stress, that lowers the blood pressure, improves our whole body, improves our mind, the oxygen goes better. Just do that for 5 minutes. I don't promise anything, and I don't want to guarantee anything because I have no idea where you are right now. I was about to, I know. And yet, I know that I can be in my darkest of times and I wouldn't want to listen to me. Yet, this breathing sometimes helped saving my life. And I'm not kidding. Just sharing a moment from last June. Last year, I was in the lowest of my moments since I was 16 and a half. So, sharing that little swing that I built for my daughter, I built it for her when she was for the age of 2. I noticed that the only thing that she loves, absolutely loves, is to swing. And last year I was really, really low. CPTs, they can really kick you out. And I imagine those ropes, let's say, in a different way. So breathing kept me going. It doesn't have to push me forward, but sometimes just to keep the head above water. Good friends, good talks also helps, but breathing, at least when you have nothing else, when you have no power, you have no nothing. Just do that. I already feel much better. It just changes the whole thing. And when we do that and we go back to that, the whole perception changes, and that literally affects life. Because, and I want to just finish with that because I do want to get to my kid. Um, Most people that I've met throughout my life, and that no fault, no judgment whatsoever. That's what we've been told. I've believed that for ages of myself. We will be only happy when we'll get there. We will be only peaceful when we get there. When we get the lectures, when I'll be able to just speak, I'll be peaceful. Are you kidding? I'm sure that when I'll speak 4 lectures a week, I'll have something to worry about. It's just, I guess, who I am. It's just, I have to move forward. I have to fix things. I have to worry about something. Otherwise, I'll be bored. So yeah, just make peace with that. I make peace with who I am. So I'm breathing into that. So I just want to um, invite you to decide who you want to be. What you want to have, or what you want to do. Who you want to be. I'm happy. You might heard this stuff. I'm sure it just came to my mind just now, but maybe you want. Maybe you can try. I'm happy. I'm peaceful. I'm rich. If you want that, um, anything you want. I'm calm. I'm serene. I'm proactive. I'm motivated. You can even just write can and just pick one. Pick 10 and they pick three and they pick one. Some kind of sorting system. Um, just choose one. Just breathe into it for 5 minutes a day. That's it. And just it's just exercise that just came to. You don't have to. Even if you just keep breathing, it's perfectly fine. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. Your wants, your desires are inside of you. You can't do anything about them. Just breathe. They'll come out. They'll come out. If you have the energy, if you have the motivation, if you want to make a step forward, something new, try something curious, go for it. Breathe into a state of mind. It works. Anyway, I have to go. Uh, I'm already really late. I'll keep my commitment. I'll be here Monday, next Monday, 11 o'clock Israel time. So if you can keep it up, if you're Europe, you can set yourself time. If you're in the States, it's like that. Sorry about that. Um, well, at least it's on YouTube. That's it. So this is Uriel Timitar. Sorry. And have a great week and a great day. Great life. Keep breathing. Boop. And the last one.